McCulloch v. Maryland, A Tale of Action, John Marshall, and National Supremacy by Katie, Keith, and Ella. But before we begin, let's clear something up.
McCulloch v. Maryland was one of the most important cases in the early days of our nation, in a time when national supremacy was hotly debated and the place of the government was still being developed.
It all began in 1816 when Congress established the Second Bank of the United States, a branch of which was set up in Maryland. Soon after, in 1818, Maryland passed a tax on the banknotes of the Bank of the United States as a way to destroy it. James McCulloch, the head of the Maryland branch, refused to pay the tax and was subsequently fined. McCulloch appealed, but the Maryland Court of Appeals ruled that the Constitution is silent on the subject of banks, and that not only was the taxation of the bank perfectly legal, but the bank itself was unconstitutional. The case was then appealed to the Supreme Court. The Chief Justice of the Supreme Court at the time was John Marshall, known for being the father of national supremacy. In a unanimous decision, the Marshall Court rejected Maryland's ruling. While the Maryland courts argued that because the Constitution was ratified by the states were sovereign in their own sphere, Marshall decided that the federal government was supreme over the states. In the official ruling, the majority stated that the government of the Union, though limited in its powers, is supreme within its sphere of action due to the Supremacy Clause of Article 4 of the Constitution and Necessary and Proper Clause of Article 1. While this ruling was controversial at the time, it has set the precedent for the idea of national supremacy, which has influenced countless other cases, such as Gibbons v. Ogden, Abelman v. Booth, Pennsylvania v. Nelson, and Cooper v. Aaron. Today, we think of course the federal government is more powerful than the states. But it wasn't always so. Because of McCulloch v. Maryland and the Marshall Court, we don't think twice about federal supremacy.
Created using Powtoon.